Whether you love or hate this DC extended universe, I think we can all agree on the fact that generally, critics have not loved it. And so, with a crowded slate of films coming up, some of them in more trouble than others, DC really needs a win right now, with a film that's more universally loved rather than extremely divisive. And is Wonder Woman that film? Let's get into it. And as I normally do, I'm going no spoilers to start off with, and then after warning, I'll get into the spoilers. So, Wonder Woman. Does it live up to the hype? I have to say, yeah, it does. I'm so happy to say that I really enjoyed Wonder Woman. Just a genuinely great time at the cinema. Firstly, one of the best things about this film is the cast. Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, I need to say, props to her. I liked her in Batman v Superman, but I didn't really think she'd be able to carry her own film. But here, she's actually very charismatic and charming, and what do you know, the acting is actually really good. I'm excited to see more of her in the DCEU. She definitely managed to lead this film. However, she's not alone. Probably my favorite performance in the whole film was Chris Pine as Steve Trevor. I really like Chris Pine in pretty much everything he's in.
Let's make some noise.
And this might be my favorite performance of his. He's so likable, and he was the funniest part of the film for me, but he's also believable. I want to hang out with this guy, and I also feel like he could exist in the real world. Overall, great job from these two. Everyone else is great too. Robin Wright, Danny Houston, Lucy Davis, the group of soldiers they fight with, the Amazons, even Professor Lupin is in this. They're all great. There's not really a bad performance I can think of here. And before we get into the action and the visual effects and all the stuff people go to these films for, I want to address those characters and stuff to do with them here, because after Batman v Superman and Suicide Squad, this is such a breath of fresh air for me, at least in this world. Because while those other two films had cool action and fun character designs, this feels so much more just like a movie. Which I know is a weird thing to say, but for the DCEU, I feel like it bears saying. This film has characters that make sense, quite a few of them with arcs, and a coherent plot that, you know, works from a storytelling perspective. Scenes actually matter and connect to each other, which is something that sometimes the other DC films have lacked. And it was just nice to get a movie where it seemed like they paid a lot more attention to the actual script and how the story would play out. Sure, the story isn't flawless, but at least it's good. Really good, actually. This movie is also really well paced, it's quite funny, it's exciting, it's just a good fun movie. It's what a summer film should be like. And even when it's not being a fun romp, the emotional scenes, some of them really worked. A scene towards the end in particular, it didn't make me cry, but it kind of made that little knot in my throat. And not even because it was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen, but just because I cared about these characters so much after this. It was just a really heartfelt moment, and like the other emotional moments in this, it felt earned. It didn't come out of nowhere. Now, of course, with this being a big superhero film, there are going to be some action scenes. And the action in this film, for the most part, is awesome. It's well shot and exciting and fun to watch. The CGI mostly is really good. It's well thought out and well choreographed. It's just fantastic. It's nothing groundbreaking necessarily. This isn't Winter Soldier levels of action, but it is a lot of fun. On that note, the visual effects are also mostly really good. Not 100% of the time though, we'll get to that. But for the majority, the visual effects are amazing. The music is quite good. Most of it is kind of the standard superhero movie music that we get in all the films these days, that a lot of people complain about. I don't really have a problem with it. It's still pleasant to listen to, and I'm sorry. I know a lot of people make fun of it, but I really love that Wonder Woman theme. It's distinctive, and it's memorable, and it's really badass. So when that showed up, I couldn't help but smile. The direction from Patty Jenkins is really good, so is the cinematography. A lot of this film, especially the first part in Themyscira, is pretty beautiful to look at. The movie has great sets and costumes. Making this a period piece, I think, made it a lot more interesting than if Wonder Woman's origin was just another modern day one. Also, Wonder Woman's costume, I don't know if they changed it at all for this film, but I actually liked it more in this than in BVS. Maybe just because of where and how it was used. Yes, this film does feel a bit Captain America at points, and it did remind me of other superhero films in some aspects, but it doesn't really feel derivative. It still manages to be its own thing. As far as links to other DC films, there really isn't any of that here. There's basically one reference that I can think of, and if you haven't seen Batman v Superman, it still totally makes sense in this film. So if you're not a DC fan, don't worry, you can still go see this film. Now, as far as the negatives, there are some. This isn't perfect. Some things really don't make any sense here. Not big things like plot points, but just like little things. Two things I can think of are Germans speaking English to each other constantly. That's just weird. And also, her lasso of truth, the physics of that and how it works weren't really clear to me. Because sometimes it's a lasso, sometimes it's a rope that wraps around people, and then towards the end, it seems like it can really do anything she needs it to. Like at one point, it's deflecting pieces of debris out of the air. I get it, it's magic. Just wish it had been better explained or more consistent. Really, my only problems lie in the finale of the film, which, don't get me wrong, is still good, it's just not as good as the rest. The action, firstly, isn't as great as it was in the rest of the film. There are some moments where it looks a bit CG, to be honest. I don't really understand what the problem with DC films are, where the visual effects look great for like 90% of them, and then the final action scene takes place in some dark location, and for some reason the CGI becomes much more noticeable. Still, not terrible. There were some fun action bits in there as well. But also, the ending gets kind of cliched. Like, up until that point in the film, the movie wasn't overly cliched. Like, it avoided them more than I thought it would, especially with Steve Trevor's character. But then at the end, with the villain and whatever he's about, no spoilers, I was just thinking, okay, I've seen this a million times before, and I know exactly where it's going. Not a really awful villain, just some of his plans and motivations I felt we've gotten before in so many other things. Now, before I get into the spoilers, I'm just gonna wrap up this part of the review. Wonder Woman is a really fun film, and it's by far my favorite DCEU movie so far. Is it anything totally genre-changing? I don't really think so. Sure, this is great for female-led superhero films going forward. And for the record, unlike these movies, this is actually a female superhero character that I think young girls really can enjoy and relate to and aspire to be like. So that's really good. But as far as this being as groundbreaking or even as good as a Dark Knight or a Logan or an Avengers, I wouldn't say so. It's just a really enjoyable movie, and I think this bodes well for DC going forward. I know a lot of people are going to be comparing this to Guardians 2, since that's the other MCU film of the year so far, and some people will say this is better, and some will say it's worse. Honestly, I think I enjoyed them about the same, for kind of different reasons, but what they share is a blend that these films should have. Good action and visuals, but also good characters and story. This movie isn't perfect at all, but it's just a really good time all the way through it. In the end, I'm gonna give Wonder Woman an 8.9 out of 10. Alright, now let's get into the spoilers. If you haven't seen the film yet, and you don't want anything spoiled, click away from this video now. Now, there's not a lot to really spoil here, so I'll just go over the 2 or 3 things. Firstly, Steve Trevor's death. Look, that was the emotional-ish moment I was talking about. When you heard what he said to Diana, and then he sacrificed himself, that kinda hit me. It also just does suck because I wish they could bring him back somehow, because he was just so charismatic. Who knows? It's a comic book world. I'd love it if he could somehow return, but probably not. Also, I want to say, the conversation Steve and Diana have after the battle when they're dancing and all that was excellent. Surprisingly well written and heartfelt scene. Then the twist that it was actually David Thewlis who was Ares. The twist itself was pretty good, although I can't really say whether or not it was predictable, because it was ruined for me going in. In preparation for this review, I just looked up Wonder Woman cast, and it said David Thewlis as Ares. And I was like, oh, okay, so it's not Danny Houston. It's gonna turn out to be David Thewlis all along. And sure enough, it was. Then at the end, when Wonder Woman finds out she's really the daughter of Zeus and a god, yeah, that was kind of predictable, although maybe it's just because that's been a Wonder Woman origin at some point. The final battle with Ares again wasn't as great as the rest of the action, but still had some awesome moments. So those were my thoughts on Wonder Woman. What did you think of it? Let me know all of your thoughts down below in the comments. While you're at it, be sure to like this video, check out my Instagram and Twitter at BHL_Hudson, and subscribe for more videos like the one you just watched. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.